English through the direct method. And besides that, the availability of aids, like we have audiovisual aids. If you have audiovisual aids available in your schools or in your colleges, then you can take resort to audiovisual aids. You ought to use, you must use. Even the size of the class matters. You know, here, I mean, as far as translation method is concerned, you can have a big class. Okay, the students can understand. But if suppose you are teaching through direct method, then and the class happens to be a very big, I don't think you know, this method, the direct method, is going to be successful. So there you may like if the class happens to be big, then you need to teach through translation method. If the students aren't that good at English, but if you have a small class, because you know, in direct method, one-to-one attention is required. One-to-one attention is required. You can give that one-to-one attention only when you have a small number of students in your class. Okay, a small number of students. Say a class consists of say 25 to 30 students or 40 students at the most. If they are beyond this range, then it is difficult to handle the direct approach or direct method of language teaching. And even the location of the school, I must say, you know, matters a lot. Like whether it's the school is located in a rural area or say in the urban one. Suppose if it is in the urban one, then the students happen to know English. Why? Because they come from educated families. English is spoken at their homes, so they know English. But if you know, they come from the rural background and your school is situated in the rural area, the location is rural, the people around are rural, okay, agricultural based population is there, then like you won't find English speaking people over there. They might not be that good at English. English might be alien to them. Okay, so there you ought to teach through the translation method. I hope you know I am able to answer your question. Your question was like, which method do you think is the best method? So I am trying to say no method is in fact the perfect method. No method is in fact the ultimate method. Our method of teaching will differ accordingly as we are teaching English to say 7 years old student, 11 years old student, or say 23 years old student, the age group you are in. Okay, we have here students from say 21 to 25 years of age. So it also depends, you know, like the age group that you are teaching. Now, since you are the mature ones, so I can handle say the topic in English. Means I can follow the direct approach. Not only that, I can discuss even difficult topics, philosophical topics for that matter. Why? Because you are quite mature and you can easily comprehend that. So methods that may be successful in highly technologically advanced countries like Japan, America, or say England, may not be that suitable in India, because you know we lack gadgets. We do not have gadgets. Even in our college, in our university, we don't have gadgets available there. And even if you know we get the gadgets, there is nobody. We do not have say technical personnel to handle them. They are not available. We keep asking our principal or the vice chancellor that please make these aids available, or please make the people, the technical staff available, but they don't like listen to it. And that is why even if you get them, you are not able to use them. So one should know how to use the technical gadget also, audiovisual aids and all. The social background also poses language learning and teaching challenges. Social background, yes. If students come from, say, educated background, for example, if they are from the urban background, then they understand English, whereas if they come from the rural background, if they do not come from the education, if they do not have educated parents, if the parents are illiterate, if the parents are not educated, then you cannot follow the direct approach of English language teaching. I'm talking about the initial stages. Later, in the say senior stage, at your stage, we ought to follow the direct method of English language teaching. For instance, Students in rural areas who have no opportunity to listen to spoken English or have no access to the internet are at disadvantageous position as compared to the urban students. Like, you know, like our students, since you are all urban students, our college is situated in the city, and the city is quite advanced, so you have access to the internet, and you have gadgets available there in your college and there in the department, so we can make use of that. So it all, you know, this also varies. So you will have to keep the circumstances, you will have to keep the school, you will have to keep the location in your mind before choosing any method. Again, I would say that there is no perfect method of teaching English. In fact, you know, we strive and continue to strive to evolve a perfect pedagogical method on scientific evidence. However, we have not yet been able to say claim any specific method of teaching as the perfect, scientifically based and ultimate method of language teaching. Okay, like we couldn't evolve in so many years. Like no linguist can claim that, well, this method is the ultimate method. Follow this method, and if you're following this method, your students are going to learn English very well. No, we couldn't evolve. There isn't any perfect method. Every method has both merits and demerits. Therefore, the best method is one which is neither teacher-based. You know, some methods are teacher-based, where teacher is active. For example, the translation method. This method is teacher-based. Why? Because teacher is active and the students are just the passive listeners. Whatever teacher teaches them, they listen to him, they follow him. So this is teacher-based method. And as far as direct method is concerned, I would say that is it is learner-based, or say situational approach to teaching, or audiolingual approach to teaching, or an oral approach to language teaching, a communicative language for that communicative language to teaching. All these approaches and methods, they can be called they can be called student-centered methods. Why? Or they can even be called the interactive methods. So what I was trying to say, the method shouldn't be neither teacher-based nor student-centered, but learning-centered, where learning is important, where students can learn in a better way. So it should be learning-centered. It should neither be teacher-centered nor student-centered, but it should be learning-centered, exploiting the best of available resources, means whatever resources that you have. And if you don't have the resources, then you should try to give the best of your experiences, your teaching to your students. So how, if you are a good teacher, then you can even do well, give the best of yourself, even in limited resources, right? Making maximum use of your imagination in guiding and captivating attention of the students through the learning process. The teacher, in fact, the teachers have to be flexible enough to adapt to various factors, especially the quality of students they have. Because, in every school and in every college, we do not have the same quality of students. Okay? The quality of students vary. Isn't that?
Yes.
Okay, this is dropped, so you may change it. Yeah. So, quality of students vary. So we cannot adhere to any single method. We have to adopt, don't adapt. We have to adapt, don't adopt. Again, I would say. So, in fact, we were going to begin the translation method. Since you asked me a question that is there any perfect method of English language teaching? So I was trying to tell you, no, my dear students, there isn't any perfect method of English language teaching. You have to select yourself. Your approach has to be eclectic. You have to be pragmatic. And that's why I said adapt and don't adopt. If you think that translation is useful, then teach through translation method. If you think that your students can understand through the direct method, then teach through the direct method. I hope this is clear to you, the answer you have got.
Yes, sir.
So what is the take-home line here? The take-home line is that there isn't any perfect method of teaching. And that is why your approach has to be eclectic. Your approach has to be pragmatic. Pragmatic, you know, we already done pragmatics. Now here I'm using the English language word pragmatic. What does it mean? Practical. Okay, practical. So your approach has to be practical. The pragmatic approach.